Yes, it is the first official work day of the week. Today being Monday, the 22nd of March, 2021. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on the program, the platform. It is still part of our morning show. We call it the Morning Spice right here. And this is the discussion segment. We call it the platform, where we take a critical look at issues as it affect our dear nation, Nigeria, and also as it affect our dear state, Abia State. And of course, the program runs every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday right here on the flow of God's own state. Flow 94.9 FM. My name is Michael Oni. Well, what are we looking at this morning? This morning, we're talking party politics. And which political party are we talking about? We're talking about the People's Democratic Party. And why? It's because of last week, the People's Democratic Party Committee on the review of the 2019 general elections recommended that the party should allow all aspirants from all parts of the country to contest for its 2023 presidential election. Well, the committee submitted its report to the leadership of the party Wednesday last week and said, though many people think special consideration should be given to some geopolitical zones for the sake of fairness and equity, merit rather than zonal consideration should be adopted in the choice of the party's presidential flag bearer. So, looking at this recommendation, it has not been passed anyways. It is still a proposal for the People's Democratic Party, a proposal from the review of the 2019 general elections. So, looking at this recommendation, I want us to take a critical look at this, looking at this agitation for presidency coming from the southeastern part of the country. PDP stakeholders meeting and their decision to throw open the ticket for the presidential election come 2023. This decision places the majority geopolitical zones at a position of advantage against the minority zones. And what is then the fate of the southeastern region in the battle for presidency? Let me take you back in time now. After Nigeria returned back to a democratic rule, a democratic system of governance in 1999 to mitigate against the potential conflict that could arise from ethnic identity politics, balance the ethno-regional considerations, and ensure power rotation amongst the 6 geopolitical zones that make up the country, and provide for consensus building amongst the political elite. That was the time the ruling party in the country then, the People's Democratic Party, adopted the practice of rotation between the north and the south. This power sharing agreement allowed for a rotational sharing of access to political power that managed both the ethnic and religious considerations that governed Nigeria's leadership selection process at the federal level. That was the time you will have maybe a Christian coming up to contest with a Muslim, a Christian Muslim ticket, and someone from the south and the north. The rotational power sharing agreement started with the PDP. But in 2003, that's 2003, Nigeria witnessed the first test of zoning when General Muhammadu Buhari of the All Nigeria's People's Party then, ANPP, a retired military officer who had once served as the nation's head of state and had cultivated an ardent following in the north, contested against the incumbent president who was from the southern part of the country, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo of the PDP. With the zoning in effect, the northern heavyweights in the PDP knew that it was in their best interest to align with Obasanjo for 4 more years rather than support a potential 4+4 year tenure of a fellow northerner. Therefore, Obasanjo received the support of members of his party across the nation and was able to secure another 4-year term. Still moving on, looking at how it has been in that particular party we're talking about this morning, the People's Democratic Party, from President Obasanjo, who left office in 2007, to President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the northerner that succeeded him. Within the PDP, the gentleman's agreement that each cardinal zone must serve out its full term in the presidency became a compulsory stipulation that was not in the party's constitution anyways. Everything was going on well. Everyone fell in line with this particular agreement until fate took a forceful turn in 2010, if you remember, and President Yar'Adua died in office. And with the death of Yaradua, then his vice president, Goodluck Jonathan, who was from the southern part of the country, became Nigeria's president. Well, with Jonathan as president, citing Yaradua's untimely death, there were calls from the northern heavyweights in the PDP who believed that it was the turn of their zone to be the president, for him to forego the 2011 presidential elections. However, given the political temperature of the nation at the time, these calls were doused and Jonathan was allowed to run. He won, defeating Buhari, who had contested again. By 2015, Jonathan had solidified his grip of the ruling party, and the issue of continuity in office took a primary role of that zoning. Consequently, Jonathan ran again, but this time he lost to Buhari, who was able to finally win the presidency after his Congress for Progressive Change (CPC) party formed a formidable national political coalition with the Action Congress of Nigeria, factions from the ANPP also, and the All Progressive Grand Alliance, and a breakaway but powerful contingent for former PDP members, and they formed APC, and that was how President Muhammadu Buhari became the president in 2019. Buhari secured another 4-year term, defeating Obasanjo's former vice president Atiku Abubakar, a northerner also, who was the presidential candidate of the PDP. Now, with less than 30 months to go till the next presidential election, as is the usual practice in Nigeria, through proxies, newspaper commentaries, political dog whistles that are intended to gauge the pulse of the nation, the issue of zoning is gradually becoming a subject of discussion that is tied to this crucial question that dominates the most political gatherings: who is likely to succeed President Buhari in 2023? And that is what we're looking at this morning as we take a look at that recommendation of the People's Democratic Party Committee on the review of the 2019 general elections, that recommended that the party should allow all aspirants from all from all parts of the country to contest for its 2023 presidential election. So joining in the discussion this morning, and let's take a critical look at this issue, analyze it, what are the possibilities of PDP clinching to power with this recommendation if it's finally adopted by the People's Democratic Party. Welcome on board once again. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business, high-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
All right, let's begin the conversation this morning. I have joining me a member of the People's Democratic Party, a stakeholder of the party right here in Abia State, Mr. Kingsley Megwara. He's a regular when it comes to party politics, especially as far as the People's Democratic Party is concerned. Good morning to you, Mr. Kingsley. Glad to have you join us this morning on the platform on Flow 94.9 FM.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Abians.
Oh, thank you very much. You're speaking with Michael Oni. Now, let's take a look at the issue we're discussing this morning. Your party's committee on the review of the 2019 general elections is throwing open the presidential ticket, 2023 presidential ticket, to all parts of the country. And one will be asking, what happened to the traditional zoning that has, it is not in the constitution of your party, but what happened? And do you think that will help your party regain power in 2023?
Well, Michael, unusual circumstances calls for unusual decisions. And that's where we have found ourselves today as Nigerians. I need not chronicle all of the sufferings of our people across board, from Abia State all the way to Patigi in Kwara State. Nigerians are suffering, and as a result of that, we are looking for solutions to bring us out of the quagmire. And it is that solution that enabled our party to say, okay, what do we do? How do we get out of this mess? A committee was set up, and I was glad that our brother Senator Baribe was a member of that committee, and they said, go and look critically, what do we need to do? And we felt that, jettisoning the idea of saying, okay, a section of this country, we have to no, we said no. We will have to go back and bring the best. These are unusual circumstances that Nigerians are facing today. We want to get our best and brightest, and wherever that person comes from, that is what the party says we are going to do. Of course, it's a mere recommendation from a committee, and as you know, in the party process, this recommendation will still have to go through different protocols. The National Working Committee will look at it, an implementation committee will also look at it, and will critically look at that recommendation and know what is in the best interest of Nigerians. It's no longer about our party. It's about the best interest of Nigerians, and that is why I applaud this current move by the party. Very unusual circumstances in this country, and if we don't stop the hemorrhaging, it's going to be very, very difficult for all of us.
Okay, let's take a look at this recommendation. Don't you think it is changing the goalpost at the middle of the game? It has been like that right from 1999 down to 2007, down to Obasanjo's tenure, to Yar'Adua, who unfortunately died, and of course the power moved to the south later on. It's been north, south in your party. Don't you think it is changing the goalposts in the middle of the game?
Again, Michael, if you recall what I had just said, and nobody says that that rotation might not favor the northeast or the southeast that have been seriously agitating for the presidency to come to this section. Again, the critical thing to look at is the conscience of the People's Democratic Party, saying that we have very unusual circumstances going on in Nigeria. This country has taken a nosedive for the worse. Recall that we are just now trying to get out of our second recession. And Kingsley Megwara might not be an economist, but I can predict that a third recession is looming. Michael, if you look at all of the indices with which to judge, there is no way out. For the first time in the history of our country, we are at our highest debt level. Never has this happened before. So these unusual circumstances warranted the People's Democratic Party, as a result of the committee setup, to say, what do we do? The what do we do angle is what led to the recommendation that they say, you know what, let's go and scout for the best and brightest. And I'm not about all this, some of these charlatans running around. Kingsley Megwara will not be one to support any charlatan running around now, because I truly believe that there is a difference between mediocrity and quality leadership. The decision of the PDP to leave the presidency open for everybody is as a result of what we feel for the country. We want to put a healing balm. We need a president who will come and heal the wound. People are bleeding. People are suffering.
What will now be the fate of the minority zones that are yet to produce the presidency?
Again, it's a recommendation by a committee setup. Does not mean that the minority zone will still not produce the presidency. We are going to critically look at the best and brightest, somebody with a paper trail, the credentials necessary to be president, somebody who is ready to rule, to govern, to bring us together, bringing together the cohesive forces of brotherhood and sisterhood that should bind us together as Nigerians. That's what we are looking for. And the scouts are out there looking, and it can come from anywhere. It can still come from the minority zone, Michael. But the most important thing is to applaud this decision by the PDP to say we are going after the best. And the best is what we need to heal the country at this time.
All right, let's take a look at our political system in Nigeria. Beyond your party, the issue of zoning, the issue of equity, the issue of justice is always in the play. Anytime we have an election coming close, and of course we have an election to run in the country. Now, one will be asking, should that lexicon be in our political system at the time that we have elections? Should we be talking about zoning? Are we not meant to be looking at performance? Are we not meant to be looking at who merits rather than zoning?
Michael, I'm looking forward to a day when Nigerians will begin to look very critically at the quality of those we empower to govern us. Governing is administering the people's resources. And if you are appointing a manager to take care of your wealth, you should be able to clean your eyes and bring the best. What has led to this zoning is what is presently, Michael, in my opinion, happening in the country. For example, 27 new justices of the Court of Appeal has just been recommended for the country. 24 of those justices are from the north. Southwest, 2 persons. South, 2 persons. The South is 0. So if you are a person from the Southeast and you feel marginalized, you now feel that the presidency is a tool to make sure that your area gets some of the dividends of democracy, except for the abnormality we now see in some presidents that will come. Everything currently, the APC have made this zoning to now be something that might even be enshrined in future constitutions, because it doesn't mean that because you are from a section of a country, everything should be your brothers and sisters. That's not governance. That's not Nigerians. But personally, as somebody who spent 28 years of my life in America, I'm looking forward to a day where we will no longer look at where a man comes from, but look at the content of the heart of the man, the quality of the man. And like I said, paper trail doesn't lie. And that is why it's important. Whoever comes out, be it from my party or be it from APC, the people are now sensitized. And I give a lot of kudos to the young people. They are getting ready to take over their country. And the time is now. And it's very right for them to do so.
How can we grow beyond that point of you zone a particular political party zoning its tickets to some geopolitical zones, and it won't affect the outcome of the election, maybe the party losing out completely? We've been so divided along ethnic line and religious line after a long time. You will agree with me that sometimes we also tend to look at the religion of a particular candidate before giving the ticket to the candidate.
One of the worst things that have affected us in this country today is religion. And because religion has been so used against us. And I say it's all about the rich versus the poor. The rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. The average woman at Oriuba market today is suffering. The average woman at Itire market today is suffering. And so some of these things are beginning to change, Michael. And when I see the young people make all of these agitations that they are currently making, I'm looking forward to a day. Where all of these things will be a thing of the past. The young people need to rise up, and knowing that if we continue in this phase that we are going, they won't have a country. Michael, you can imagine, we are turning out more graduates in this country than we are creating jobs. That is trouble 101 for everybody. And so I am honestly looking forward to the young brothers from the north, the young brothers from the west, and the young brothers from the east saying enough of this garbage. We need to come together and try to find a solution to our problems.
With this recommendation, don't you think members of your party in the South should be scared that this would, if adopted, will dash the hope of some of the members of the opposition party who had canvassed the zoning of the presidency exclusively to the South? Because I'm saying this because last year, the governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, who dumped the PDP, your party, for the ruling of Progressives Congress, because according to him, the party had no plan to zone the position to the southeast.
Well, they can zone whatever they want to zone and wherever they want to zone it to. What I do know is that they can go ahead and zone and give us a charlatan from this section of the country, and we will reject that person. Whoever they zone to is their problem. But what I'm telling you is that the PDP have realized that it is very critical for us to go after the best, and we are looking for the best from any quarter. I would rather for a man from Kano State who is an effective leader for this country, who will come and turn around things for the average man or woman out there, than to have a charlatan from Imo State or Abia State who will go there and not be effective. We should look beyond that. We don't feel marginalized. The reason why we are calling marginalization is the current trend we now see in this president. And if we get a president who is neutral and bringing people together, I think more and more people will say, forget the man. It's all about stomach infrastructure. I don't care if the man is from Kano. If he can do the job, let him do the job. that is the wavelength that I think we should be, Michael. And I think the more and more Nigerians are waking up to that.
All right, Mr. Kingsley Megwara, I want to really appreciate your analysis concerning the decision of that committee in your party this morning. Thank you very much for joining me on the platform.
God bless you.
You're welcome. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions on Flow 94.9 FM. And we're looking at that committee's report that the People's Democratic Party review of the 2019 era elections has recommended that the party should allow all aspirants from all parts of the country to contest for its 2023 presidential election. We take a break now. When we return, we continue the conversation. And of course, finally, we throw the lines open for your contributions.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
All right, thank you very much for joining me. Again, it is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM, Monday edition, and we're talking party politics. We have joining me this morning, Chief Chuks Ibegu, the former Ohaneze chairman, and of course, we will be looking at this issue of zoning. Chief, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I was a former spokesman of Ohaneze, not chairman.
Former spokesman of Ohaneze. Sorry about that, Chief. All right, thank you very much for joining me this morning on the program. I'm sure you're aware of that committee's review of the 2019 general elections, that of the PDP, that all aspirants from all parts of the country should contest for the party's 2023 presidential ticket. Let's look at that. Don't you think that would dash the hope of some of persons, especially the southeastern part of the country, canvassing for the presidency to be zoned to the southeast?
Ordinarily, in democracy, people are free to aspire to positions. But we are in a peculiar circumstance. The pluralistic nature of our society demands that political offices are zoned to give all sections of the polity a sense of belonging. You see, the Southeast in particular have paid a lot of dues for the PDP. Dr. Alex Ekweme, starting from G37, and other Igbo strong political actors participated a lot in shaping that party. We paid a lot of dues for that party in at all levels. So, and we expect that the party would zone the presidency to the Southeast in particular in 2023. The Southeast have paid a lot of dues for that political party. So it would be very unkind of the party to deny that zone. Every other zone have had opportunity to produce a president.
Now,
really, where the president comes.
Let's take a look at the reason given by that committee that merit rather than zonal consideration should be adopted in the choice of the party's flag bearer.
The party considered merit in the past. When Obasanjo came up, did they consider merit? When Jonathan came up, did they consider merit? You see, why are we being very unkind? I don't know the particular phrase to use. Whenever issues that concern the Southeast crop up, people begin to use some very obsequious and strange phrases like merit. If you are talking about merit, which part of the country do you have more meritorious aspirants? Is it not in the Southeast? So whether you are talking about merit or zoning or whatever, the Southeast is highly qualified, highly positioned to be considered. So whether I don't understand what you mean by merit. Did they consider merit when Obasanjo came up? Did they consider merit when Tiku came up? Contested in Port Harcourt? Did they consider merit when Jonathan came up? Some other issues were used to satisfy and to give us a sense of belonging to zones that have not been carried along. So why is it different now?
Chief, I want you to help us analyze some of the factors that led us to this point where the Southeast geopolitical zone is clamoring for presidency. In the past, we don't even bother about where someone is coming from, about the religion, or about the geopolitical zone the person is coming from. What we were bothered about is the fact if the person can deliver. But now it has gone into a point that Southeast geopolitical zone is clamoring for presidency. What led to this particular agitation?
Okay, you see it. The Southeast is the whipping boy of this country. We have 5 states and 95 local governments. This is a zone that has paid a lot of price to nation building. Every other zone have had opportunity to produce a president. Yes, ordinarily, where a president comes from shouldn't be a matter of, ethnicity or all this and all that. But it has come to a situation where our young men and our young women are feeling they are not part of Nigeria. If we don't give people political equity, economic equity, social equity, the people will feel they are not part of the country. The agitation here and there is because of, sense of non-belongingness. So I believe that when Igbo become president, it's not necessary that Nigeria will become heaven. No, but there will be a sense of belonging. There will be a sense of equity. There will be a sense of, look, we are part of Nigeria. So that's what we are talking about. We are not saying that if an Igbo becomes president, everywhere will become heaven. No. But there will be a sense of belonging.
Do you think zoning should be enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria?
Of course. You see, because we live in a peculiar political environment, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, we need something that will give every part of the country a sense of belonging. Nigeria is not the only multi-ethnic society. There are so many other, but they craft political, equity process that will give all sense of all parts of the polity a sense of belonging. So there's nothing wrong if it's constitutionalized.
Interesting. Now, Chief, I want you to help us use your eagle eye to take a look at this issue where parties, especially political party like PDP, is saying that aspirants should be allowed to, all aspirants from all parts of the country should be allowed to contest for 2023 presidential election. And this is coming at a time that the Southeast geopolitical zone is agitating for presidency. Don't you think that will jettison any political party that told that particular path, like the PDP? It will jettison the PDP's chances in the southeastern part of the country?
Definitely, any political party that decide to rob us the opportunity to produce a president in 2023 will be doing itself a disservice. I hope PDP, I am happy the party Dr. Ekelon have not acceded to the committee recommendation. It's still a recommendation, and I hope it remains a recommendation. But if the party go ahead to make it a policy that the ticket is free for everybody, it will be doing itself a disservice. And of course, the Southeast would take decisions that will not augur well for the PDP if it goes that way. There are other political parties, and those are parties that recognize and they respect the political dignity and integrity of the Southeast. We will shift to those parties.
All right. Politics now, they say it's a matter of numbers. Do you think we have the numbers needed if we finally get one of these major political parties finally gives us what we want, someone from Southeast as the flag bearer of the party? Do you think we have the numbers to make up with another zone, and of course to win, to clinch the ticket for the number one position of Nigeria?
My brother, you see, we have been talking and giving kudos to all this issue of number. Yeah, number is very important in political mathematics. We have the number. You see, the reality is that the political demography of the Southeast and Igbos have been shortchanged over the years. For instance, of every state in Nigeria, after the indigenous, you come the people from Southeast or Igbos. But these have not been given political kudos. This has not been properly factored in. I want to assure you that political bridge building, we are building bridges, we are networking with with the political demography of Igbos all over Nigeria. If we do the right calculations and right bridge building, we'll get there.
Chief Chuks Ibegwu, former spokesperson for Ohanaeze Ndigbo, thank you very much for your time this morning on the program, The Platform.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.